Hello and welcome. Today I'm going to showcase the still work in progress Spacewalk bridge. This is the first bridge between Stellar and the Polkadot and Kusama network. And what I'm demoing today is the Stellar Oracle in particular. And this is a component which listens to the activity on the Stellar network. And when a user wants to bridge, then it will gossip to the Spacewalk bridge. So this logic is depicted here in this graphic in more detail. So we have the Stellar network on the left side with Stellar core servers, which send consensus messages all the time. And then we have some so-called agents, which will listen and collect and store these messages, and then extract the necessary parts to then communicate them to the Stellar Oracle, which lives in a so-called bridge palette, and this palette lives on Polkadot and Kusama chains. So I prepared a little demo, and first of all I'm gonna spin up a small standalone blockchain. So what we can see here is that this chain will submit a block every 6 seconds, and then in another window I will launch one of the agents. And as you can see here, this agent code, it actually connects to the Stellar overlay network, and it will receive the SCP envelopes, which are the consensus messages, and some transaction sets all the time. And the standalone chain that I launched here has the Oracle implemented. So what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna send a transaction on Stellar, which we are gonna prove with our Oracle in the next step. So let me prepare a payment transaction with Solar Wallet, and then we wait until it is successfully submitted to the network. So now it's done, and we go back to the code, and we see that our agent immediately picked up the transaction, and next it's gonna collect the related consensus messages it needs. Here on this line we see that actually it only has 13 messages so far, so it's gonna retry in the next loop when it has more messages. And here we see that it had enough SCP messages or consensus messages and called an extrinsic on our Oracle. And if I now scroll back in the logs, we see here these 3 messages. We can see that our Oracle palette picked up the transaction. It successfully constructed it from the raw values, and it actually concluded that based on the consensus messages we fed it, that this Stellar transaction has to have happened on Stellar, and it's not just any transaction that is trying to fool us and it not actually happened. So now we could actually act upon this information. So that's it for the demo. And so what I showed you is the Oracle, which is a key piece of the infrastructure for our Pendulum parachain, and the full bridge is expected to be ready for audit at the end of this year. So I hope you liked this little demo, and stay tuned for our launch early next year.